The repeatedly appearing King Tian Zhen, even given a special close-up shot during his first appearance, was clearly marked by the studio as a major character. Viewers familiar with the studio's usual storytelling patterns probably guessed it early on that King Tian Zhen was no ordinary ally. On the surface, he appeared as a man of integrity, the loyal friend who had fought side by side with King Blade River through countless battles. But in truth, the moment he learned that King Blade River had acquired the sacrificial tower's treasures, greed began to take root in his heart. Bound by military law, he couldn't openly strike at a comrade of the same faction, so he waited patiently. The emergence of the Sealed Star gave him the perfect opportunity, a chance to orchestrate an elaborate scheme, strike at Luo Feng from the shadows, and seize his treasures for immense profit. And this wasn't his first time plotting something like this. It's worth mentioning that although King Tian Zhen's realm was only a peak king immortal, in theory far weaker than a limit king immortal, which about tenfold in difference. However, as a peak king immortal skilled in the field of soul, once he ignited his divine body, his illusion and soul attacks could easily threaten even a limit king immortal. With a bit of luck, he might even enslave one outright. If two peak-level soul masters burned their divine bodies and attacked together, their opponents would either be killed or enslaved, unless they are protected by a heavy-grade soul defense treasure or possessing an unshakably strong willpower. Thus, King Tian Zhen's true combat power could completely rival that of a limit king immortal. This also explains why, even though peak king immortals were generally nearly 100 times weaker and held much lower status than invincible kings, figures like King Fantasy Spirit still stood on equal footing with King Jinyan, as she alone commanded 81 immortal slaves. A limit-level soul master like King Blood Devil could even control close to 1,000 immortal slaves. If all those slaves were peak king immortals, even invincible king like King Jinyan would find it difficult to face them head-on. This shows just how terrifying a soul master is. In fact, King Tian Zhen had clashed several times with a peak-level soul master from the demon race, and in their final battle, he succeeded in enslaving him. Afterward, instead of keeping the captive by his side, King Tian Zhen deliberately left him hidden within the demon race's ranks, to serve as his covert pawn. Through this inside-outside coordination, he even managed to control a limit king immortal. Then, during the Sealed Star Treasure War, he repeated the same trick by feigning defeat in desperation to lure Luo Feng into rescuing him, exploiting loopholes in military law to push Luo Feng step by step into a deadly trap. Imagine, if you were Luo Feng, having completed the Star Tower inheritance and emerged much stronger, would you choose to personally execute King Tian Zhen to vent your fury, or enslave him for eternity as your sole servant, forcing him to atone for his betrayal?